fun to be here, and I mean, I took a few moments. I would like to have taken even more moments to wander around the Hall of Fame. It's pretty interesting, as you know, and there are some names that are really familiar to me as well. I grew up in the Toronto suburb of Etobicoke, and I remember very well when the Detroit Red Wings brought up Alex Faulkner. And I remember the stories about the first player from Newfoundland to play in the National Hockey League, and at a time when there were only 6 teams in the NHL, and so that was quite an achievement. And I see over there the picture of the Faulkner brothers. And I had never met Alex until about, I can't remember, probably 3 or 4 years ago in St. John's at a golf course, and had the chance to meet him. And George Faulkner, his brother, played with the Canadian national team, but a little bit before when I played with the national team. But then I was in the Conception Bay Arena, again 3 or 4 years ago. And if any of you have been inside that arena, and you can see the giant sweaters sort of hung from the ceiling. And I know George's sweater is retired there. I don't know whether Alex is or not. He may not have played for Conception Bay at all, but it's fun to wander around here and to see the names, and Daniel Cleary and Michael Ryder and Harold Druken. When I was with the Leafs, Harold Druken was playing, for some of the time, playing with the St. John's Maple Leafs, and for a bit of time, he was brought up and played with the Toronto Maple Leafs. So it's fun to, and I love old jerseys and love old equipment, and can't believe that some of that old equipment that looks so old, if you put my equipment next to it, it would look just as old. I was any of you have been to the Bell Centre in the last year or so, they've just opened a Hall of Fame, a Canadians Hall of Fame there. And if you're ever there, I really encourage you to go into the Canadians Hall of Fame. It's got some great stuff, but some of it is my stuff. And I can't believe it. I mean, it really looks as if it was worn by Georges Vezina. I mean, it really is pretty embarrassing, actually. But maybe just for a second or two, I'll just, and if anybody has any questions, and then what I'll do afterwards is that I'll sign some things, but if I can ask your patience in this, and I think that the numbers will work, but if I sign just one thing for each person, because if I don't, then it'll be, there'll be another aunt or uncle or brother or sister, and then we'll be into 6 or 7, and we'll never get to the end. And then it'll all be just autographs, and it's kind of fun to meet people as well as just signing autographs. I think it can be kind of fun for everybody. So maybe we'll start for a second. If anybody has any questions. And I guess actually the first question I have for all of you is, and I have to ask you to be entirely honest. Who of you have as a favorite team the Toronto Maple Leafs? Okay. Who have as a favorite team the Ottawa Senators? Thank you for that. Whose favorite team is the Boston Bruins? I can almost live with that. How about the Philadelphia Flyers? Well, that's really good. You've passed the test of no Senators fans, no Flyers fans. So I'll continue on. How about the Pittsburgh Penguins? Washington Capitals. Oh my God. All right, now, the numbers are starting to eliminate a team that I haven't gotten. The Vancouver Canucks. Calgary Flames. Oh my gosh, there's one back there. Edmonton Oilers. All right, now the big one. Canadians. I mean, really honestly? That's fair enough. Now, does anybody have just a couple of questions, and then we'll start into some meeting you and some signing?
How many here play minor hockey?
Wow.
Quite enough. That's good.
And
You have proof? Yes, you
and
do.
are you?
He said he has proof.
Any questions from anybody?
Mr. Dryden, I'll ask you, how important is it, in your opinion, practice over actual gameplay?
Well, 11 years ago, we decided, when I was with the Leafs at the time, and it was coming to the end of a century. This was 1999, 2000. And decided that what we would do is we would create what we called the Open Ice Summit. They carried it on this past summer as well. And I think the idea would be every 10 years to sort of see where we are. We've been playing hockey since 1876, or others would say at other times, but we've been playing a long time. It's really important at a certain moment to sort of see where we are. And around 1999, 2000, we were doing okay, but not great. And the question is that why, and why aren't we doing better? And the Canadian way of playing hockey was always to play a lot more and practice a lot less, but practice was on the streets, backyards. That's kind of where the informal part of it would come from. And Europeans, it was always, practice a lot more and play a lot less. And the question was, did we have the balance right? And what came out of this conference, and with lots of, Scotty Bowman and all the best coaches were there, and minor hockey coaches, was no, we didn't have the balance right. That we were playing more and practicing less than we should. And they started to shift that a little bit. I mean, I realize it's uneven across the country, but there's been a bit of a shift in the direction of because in fact, as any of you know, who have played or coached, is that you don't really improve in a game. You apply your skills in